90% mindset and 10% of what your skills are. So we have a few options that we can kind of go through right now in the shifted market. Now, it was an instant shift. Most of them usually are. And sorry, there was a spider dropping down from the ceiling right in front of me. Yeah. So you have three choices. You have three choices. You can adapt to the market. You can just leave the market, or you can complain about it. So really right now, 70 to 80% of your competitors are choosing to not do anything and to stick their heads in the sand, because we have a sales force that usually doesn't want to work, and they just give it an excuse to not work. And that's a huge advantage for you guys. You know, we already see shifts on a regular basis on seasonal levels, right? Midwest, you guys slow down quite a bit when it starts to snow. California, we slow down in the midsummer because a lot of people go on vacation at that time. Next slide, please. So the main ideas we're going to start off with is 1, perspective on the market. 2, developing the opportunity mindset. 3, mastering your skills. 4, installing key systems. And 5, getting into the game. Now, this, what you want to call quarantine, self-contained, whatever else, is a real big advantage to you guys right now, because now you have the time to step back and really organize. Whereas in 2008, the market was changing and it was just crashing left, right, and center, and you were having to be completely reactive and respond on a minute's notice. So take this time to really hone your skills and develop a solid plan, so that way when everything's back to normal, probably somewhere in the next, I don't know, 30 to 45 days, you're already up and running. Next. So perspective. So how is the market? Well, I can say from Southern California's standpoint, we're closing about 800 transactions a day in our MLS in the local area. So transactions are still going on. Before this all happened, we were in a complete seller's market because we had no inventory, or very low inventory. The lowest inventory has been in I think 8 years was where we were. So we're still in a seller's market. However, the ability for buyers to get financing is going to be a challenge right now, and the logistics of showing. So markets always, in fact, shift. They shift, like I said before, throughout the course of a year. We've been doing nothing but going up for 10 years now, and that's probably about the end of a normal run of a market. 7 to 10 years is about the norm. So now you have to identify where the opportunities are in your market, if that makes sense. All right, next slide, please. So the laws of supply and demand. When demand exceeds supply, prices go up. When supply exceeds demand, we drop prices. Obviously, you guys are all intelligent people. I don't need to explain to you exactly how that works. Again, we're pretty high on demand and low on supply, so that pushes prices up. However, there's external factors that can come into play on this. So this slide states that the seller's market is less than 5 months inventory, a balanced market is 5 to 7, and a buyer's market is more than 7 months inventory. Here in Southern California, it's a little bit different. It's usually 90 to 120 days of inventory for us is a balanced market. Over 120, it favors the buyer, less than 90 sellers. Before we got into this shift, most of the cities in Orange County were running at about 30 to 40 days supply, so it was really bullish for the sellers. Now, again, a lot of mortgage companies are not processing loans. Their investors are pulling out of the market, calling on margin. There's a lot of things at play. We had a great discussion with Keller Mortgage Wednesday about this. And just know that there's some tools in place for you guys at Keller Mortgage, if you're with Keller Williams, that you can access, and they're more than happy to help guide you through this and assure us that they're continuing on with day-to-day operations as normal. So, next slide. So the perspectives on the market, it has this whole long thing about how to calculate affordability index, right? And how we adjust to it. So the affordability index is when median income plus the required income to qualify on a conventional mortgage times 100. So like I said, we've been going up in pricing for 10 straight years. So there's going to have to be a correction at some point. on the marketplace, if that makes sense. And rates have been historically low, even though there's some gouging going on right now because the supply of money is getting shorter and shorter. Next. Any questions so far?
Let's see where everyone's.
Okay, so.
Oh, hold on. I see
Yes.
someone. Hold on, I'm trying to. Go ahead, Colleen.
I just want to point out to everybody on the class that if you open the chat group by clicking the chat button at the bottom, some of your team leaders in Illinois and Indiana are putting stats and different information there so that you have the current information no matter.
Okay.
Sorry, I muted myself because of the dog. I apologize.
Okay, we're like, where'd you go?
Because they're putting the information, so you may want to leave that chat box open so you can kind of see the concepts are going to be the same no matter what part of the country you're in, because we're all impacted by this, but your stats are going to show up. Alex and David are putting those stats on the right hand side for you. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So are you sharing the screen right now?
Everyone can still see the perspective on market screen, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, fantastic. So as you can see, like that's basically how they calculate the affordability index for the housing market. You know, there's going to be some skewing here now because we have a significant portion of our working class is now on unemployment and stuff like that. So to ignore that and think that it's not going to have an effect on the market is really short-sighted. So there's going to be some adaptability. I don't know how long how long this is all going to take to shake out. And I think anybody who tells you that they definitively do is probably not being completely honest with you because the ripple effect is going to be pretty widespread. Most likely what's going to happen first is your entry-level housing buyers are going to be the most affected because they're the ones that don't have reserves. They don't have, their unemployment's going to be very, very nil. It's probably not going to cover their living expenses. So and then they fuel the market from the bottom up, which is going to affect your intermediate sellers and buyers because they're not going to have a buying pool to buy their entry-level houses. So just be aware of that. And when you're starting to try to carve out where your opportunities are going to be. So they go to the three different ways to close the affordability gap: lower home prices, increase buying power, i.e. lower rates generally, or increase the income. Well, we've already talked, the income's going down. The borrowing power has gotten, affected, even with low rates, with nobody giving out the money to lend on them, that's gonna affect it. So which one can we control? It's the price of the homes, generally speaking, if we can control that at all. So the perspective on the market. Now this is the macro, micro, and metro and micro. So we all know what's happened. We had a massive catastrophic event that's halted everything instantly. So we have to figure out how we can change and adapt our business to succeed and thrive in today's current situation. Now we've been doing all kinds of webinars on how to list property virtually, how to show property virtually. This is where those who can adapt and change are going to succeed, because there are opportunities out there. There's hundreds and hundreds of homes being listed every single day in our MLS, and you got to get out there and get creative. I had a past client who's feeling the economic heartache right now reach out to me last night asking me to help her sell her house, and we're going through that virtually. So just know that we're here to help you guys try and brainstorm and figure this out, so that way you can still make money, you can still work just as virtually as humanly possible, if that makes sense.
Maybe Alex and
David can chime in
on what's going on in their markets. You guys should be able to unmute yourself.
Alex, you want to go first?
What's that?
I didn't know if Alex.
There you go. I was host muted, so I couldn't unmute myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at these numbers this morning. I mean, Certainly things are down a bit compared to last year, although maybe not as much as you might think. Our contracts written in Cook County, which is the primary county in the Chicago metro area, including Chicago, contracts are down about 9.7%, but new listings are down 20.3%. So what we're finding is that people that are activating listings right now, they're still getting multiple offers. Things are selling quickly. 3.3 months of housing supply. It's different. It's weird, but there is still a market. And so specifically for listings, because the relationship is such that, Mark, as you mentioned, with supply and demand here, there's more demand than there is inventory. So those that are putting listings up are getting pretty darn good results right now.
Awesome.
100%. And to add on that for Northwest Indiana, I mean, just in the month of March of this year, what we're seeing is we've got 700 new listings. So from March 1st all the way till today, the 3rd, 700 new listings across the MLS covering all the 5 major counties in Northwest Indiana, all residential. And then from the 13th, so I've been using the 13th as kind of like that 0 point of kind of when the chaos really started. And we had 476 new listings since March 13th all the way up until today. So that is actually more than half of the listings that were taken in the month of March came after the 13th, which is kind of that ground 0 point when the stuff really started hitting the fan. So there's a lot of synergy in what Mark's saying across the markets.
Yeah, and I'll just add that for any of you that are with any of our 3 market centers, Elite in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, like the name says, and Costa Mesa, check your daily Facebook group, because I'm posting, not me, my awesome executive assistant, Kiki, is posting daily the number of the daily market watch of what's coming into the group. So just yesterday in MRED, which is the Chicagoland MLS, there were 1,573 new listings come on the market, 732 expired. So the net effect of that is what, how many? 800-ish, right? Yeah. Guess how many closed yesterday? 849, and 746 went under contract. Same thing with Northwest Indiana, smaller marketplace, obviously. 50 new came on the market, 22 expired, 41 closed, and 82 went under contract.
Perfect.
And then in Orange County, in the CRMLS, it says 1,034 came onto the market. 203 expired, 890 closed, and 706 under contract. So those are pretty robust numbers in the marketplace, and those are posted daily for you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you're a guest on this call, whoever invited you to be on here, because you're not in those Facebook groups. If you're a guest on this call, or you're watching this back because it's being recorded and you get sent to it and you're a guest, reach out to the person who sent you the recording or who invited you to this, and we'll get you those stats in your hands as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I want to chime in too on Thomasina's question. What's the formula to determine how much housing supply there is? So first thing is you want to find your absorption rate. So the absorption rate is how many homes are selling per month. Now you can take that over an average of just 1 month or 3 months or 6 months, doesn't matter, but find the average number of homes that's closing each month. Then you want to take that and divide it into the number of total active listings. So if I've got 100 listings and 20 are selling every month, 100 divided by 20 is 5. That means it would take 5 months to sell off all that inventory if, in theory, no new listings came on the market. So that's how we measure supply, and that's how you would get that number. You take your average number, find the average number of homes that are closing each month, and divide that into the total available.
And on average in Northwest Indiana, because we ran this exercise before all this started to hit, it's anywhere from 60 to 89% in terms of an absorption rate, which this is why I posted in the chat there. There's less than 3 months of inventory, depending on city. We did it by different cities. So cities are going to be different in Northwest Indiana than maybe they're going to be.
Everywhere it's going to be. There's going to be certain hot spots that are still moving faster than others. And that's why, as Mark has on the screen here, you have to look at local, micro, city, metro, and national macro. Sorry to take over, Mark. We love you.
It's all right. It's all good. Gave me a chance to catch my breath. So,
Good, brother.
so I want to share on page 27 of the shift book. Those of you, I think, should have gotten a link to download the free PDF. On page 27, there's a quote by Ben Kinney out of Washington, where it says, "This market is chaos. Chaos is opportunity. It's much easier to slip by the competition when they've buried their heads down pouting." And that's what a lot of your competitors are doing right now. They're complaining about the ability that they can't work. You know, we received a ton of calls from people we never saw in the office before, wondering why they can't work. Nobody said you can't work. So just so you guys know, I mean, that's the opportunity. Okay. I can tell you from firsthand experience, 2008 was probably the most challenging year of my entire career, because from 1991 to 2007, the market did nothing but go up. Okay. And I got in 2004. And so when everything hit the fan, we had the big meltdown, all my leadership and my managers and stuff like that, I said, what do we do? Well, we don't know, because they've never seen it before. So in a lot of regards, we're much more prepared for any of this stuff than we were for that, because nobody knew what to do. You just had to go out and, you know, figure it out. So I say that because it was a really challenging time. Home values in Southern California dropped 35% in 6 months. Some places even worse, some areas in Southern California. And then you had to run around with buyers because sellers weren't selling, and gas was $6 a gallon, and we all had big SUVs because we were just living high on the hog for the last 3.5 years. And you know, you're driving 50 miles to show a property to people, and the next, because that's the only place they can afford, and you know, it's costing you $45 every week or every day to show a house. So just know that, I mean, there's a lot more safeguards in place now than there were back then. That all happened because of bad lending practices, unscrupulous real estate activities. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and that shouldn't be the case this time around. Okay. You guys can do this. You guys can stop and figure this one out on your own. What's your affordability index? I don't want to just bore you and just present a PowerPoint to you, because that's not the intent here. I'd rather it be more interactive, and where we get to the part about mindset and stuff like that. How to get yourself up and after it. Thanks.
You know, we can read the PowerPoint for sure on our own. This is great information that you're sharing with us about kind of absorption rate and months of housing inventory and all that. I love it. Thanks, Mark. Keep going.
Oh, you're welcome. So if you want my opinion, what I think is going to happen when we get free and clear of this, if I were in production full time, I would be working my tail off to get to a minimum of 7 or 8 listings right now, because the minute everyone can go back to normal, or as close to normal as we're going to be, the new normal, if you will, they're going to sell, and they're going to sell very fast if they don't sell beforehand. So now it's going to come up, you know, you're going to have a whole different slew of objections that you're going to have to work on. That's why we need to focus on our skills and role playing. One of our mentors, Tony, he tells us that all of our agents should be role playing a minimum of 1 hour a day. When I was an agent, I role played at least an hour a day. And some days I actually recorded my listing presentation on video once a week. I did about 8 hours of role play and practicing scripts on a weekly basis. So, no. So again, buyers are thinking the same thing, right? They're thinking they have uncertainty about their job and their employment. They have uncertainty about like just the physical safety of being able to go out and look at houses. You know, they're going to think that it's going to be a complete buyer's market because anybody selling right now is completely desperate. And there may be a factor to it, but being motivated and being desperate are two separate things.
Yep.
You know, right now you have to focus on the people who have to sell, because the people who want to sell, they're going to be gone. You know, job transfers, financial one's going to be a big one. That's going to be huge. People are going to need to downsize. Investors are a great source to have at this point. Go find people with money, because they're going to be really heavy in the market right now. Half the time they don't even want to see the property. They just look and see if it makes sense. What else? People are still going to get divorced. That's probably going to be a big thing coming out of this in the next 6 months. All these people locked up with their spouses for 60 days.
Not me, I love mine.
So, I mean, divorce is probably going to be a big one. You know, if you have a family that's expecting their second child, they're probably not going to be living in that 2-bedroom condo much longer.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of second childs coming from all the cooped upness.
Yep,
Baby boom.
exactly. So I mean, it's a matter of actually just getting down and having real conversations with people and finding out what's going on and finding out what goals and dreams do they need to achieve, and identifying those motivations and making sure that you come up with the right plan for them. There's going to be people you're going to have to tell them that, you know, if they're looking to buy a house just so they can get a pool, they may want to put a pin in that for right now. You know, it just depends. I mean, if they're okay selling it to, you know, maybe not quite what they thought market value was going to be, then that's a call that they're going to have to make.
You know, I want to go back to something that I remember Diana saying. This was last year before any of this craziness happened. And these are the 4 things that I wrote down that she had talked about. She said, first and foremost, you need to build your skills. I'm thinking especially right now in this crazy market. And guys, we have time. Everyone has time right now. The next one was, you need 10 different ways to handle each objection. And now we have some new objections that we've got to handle. So we've got to make sure that we're on point to handle all those objections and new objections that are coming in. And then the third one that always resonates with me and I think about is, are you skilled enough? And I think this is a great time for us to sit back and actually think about that question. Are we skilled enough to take territory in this market? And then another one that she had said was, do you have patience to stay long enough to win the listing? So I think if we're not skilled enough and we don't understand their objections and know how to handle them, we're not going to have patience enough to stay there and win the listing. We're going to give up and we're going to leave. So that was just my 2 cents. Sorry, Mark.
No, absolutely. You know, and she's talked to us about building skills on a constant basis. You can go to the next slide. So you can, we need to focus on our skills. I, as a team leader, need to focus on my presentation skills on a daily basis. I don't think I have it down, not even close. If I were all of you guys, I would break into like groups of 5 to 7, and you guys hold each other accountable and you role play with each other every day. That's what I would do. And you can get a Zoom account for free and host up to 40 minutes. So,
Mark, right now they're allowing overage too. You can go beyond 40 minutes.
Even better. Well, I don't know about the free accounts because we pay for ours, but
I use a free account for my team, so it works.
Awesome.
Okay.
You don't even need Zoom. Like, it's funny how Zoom became a household name when this whole thing happened, right? Like I heard Jimmy Fallon say, talking about Zoom and this and that, like it was a household name. And yeah, they did a whole thing. But here's the thing, there's lots of different platforms. With all of my teams, we have Google Hangouts and we have a video conferencing group. The thing I like about that is they can't hide because it calls their phone.
Yeah,
it's true.
Right, guys?
Yeah.
And Google Hangouts Google has Google Meetups, which they are offering free to everyone through July.
So if you if you created an accountability group, we've got how many people on this call right now? Almost 100. So if you guys broke up into groups of 7 or 5 or 10 or whatever, I wouldn't go more than 10, and you created accountability groups around that. You put everybody, for those of you that are with KW, did you know that your KW email address is powered by Google? So if you're logged in your KW email, it works the same way as Google. So you don't need to create a Gmail suite. If you're not, you can create the Gmail. I'm sure you all have it. Everybody does. It's like a household thing, right? You put everybody in that group, and then whoever's the first one to show up for the 8:30 accountability session, they click one little click, a video link, and it rings everyone's phone. So I can't forget my accountability session. I can't hide because it's real easy to hide when we're quarantined in our houses and we're not showing up at the office and we don't really have to go to work, right? So I love that you brought that up, Mark. That was huge.
Thank you. So how to get the most out of this experience? This is just a KWU. There's 3 types of people: the prisoner, the vacationer, and the explorer. I don't think any of you guys are prisoners. Well, I mean, we kind of are in our house, but you guys all volunteered to be here. How much time's left on my sentence, Warden? So
30 days.
Yeah, 30 days, great. Anyway, so be the explorer, though. Be the explorer. This is the time to experiment and test. This is the time to really dive in and get creative in your tactics. And what better to do it with than with your accountability group? 5 brains is better than 1. So I mean, like, that's it. I mean, look at me, I have half. So you can tell I need help.
We all do.
Yeah. So, but I mean, really dive into this. And you guys can get really creative really fast and reach out to us. I mean, you can post my phone number, my email. I'm here. I'd be more than happy to mastermind and brainstorm with you guys on different creative ideas, on how to get this done. But I would definitely, Gary Keller tells us that in these times, we need to double down on our skills and double down on our accountability.
I'll post the Mark hotline in the group chat in a minute.
Okay.
Colleen, you were something about,
That Tony always says, the person with the most accountability wins, period.
Yeah. I have three accountability calls every Monday. 3. And that's outside the daily one. That's just the weekly one. So, next slide. So now we have to work on shifting it to the opportunity mindset. Again, I can't stress enough how lucky we are that 80% of our competition is literally crying in their beers right now about how they can't do anything. Like, this is the time. This is the time to really go out and double down on things, because you will come out the winner. Gary has told us before that market share pulled in a shift is never lost. And market share that's lost in the shift is rarely ever gained back. Your people are out there right now. They're sitting at home. They just want someone to talk to. So I sent a text out on Saturday to my past clients, just seeing if they needed groceries or just needed someone to talk to. Think about all the parents with their kids home right now, how much they would love to just have an adult conversation. Just an adult conversation, right? So that's it. So there is, in your materials, is the 6 truths about a market, written by Gary Keller in the wake of 9/11. So a lot of people are predicting that this economic hiccup is going to be more similar to the 9/11 issue rather than the whole epidemic of 2008. So just so you guys know, takes refuge in that stat. So markets do shift. It's a way of life, right? I remember in 2008 thinking to myself, like, I can't believe this. I got to recreate my business. And then I got through that, and then it shifted another way. And I was like, now I got to change the way I do this business. And then, and I was like, I just can't. I struggle with the mindset. Like, I'm sick and tired of having to recreate everything I do every couple of years. And then I realized that's just the reality. We're going to constantly have to shift and move how we do things, right? If it's a strong seller's market, does it really pay to be a buyer's agent? I don't think so. I mean, so when you're analyzing where you should be going, what you should be doing, that's the key. So up markets, basically, I was taught by Mike Ferry for the bulk of my career. And he told us, I remember in 2008 sitting in his coaching, from 1991 to 2007, all you had to do was show up, be reasonably on time, and not say anything stupid, and you're gonna get paid. And he goes, and now it's the skilled agent that's gonna get the deals. So with that said, it's gonna be he who gets who figures this out fastest is going to gain the most. So whoever can figure it out the fastest will make the most money. And then everyone will be following you. So adopt the opportunity mindset. Seek only motivated buyers and sellers, people who have conditions that have to move. Okay? Price ahead of the market. Those were fun conversations, and we'll get into that later. There's whole other tactic on pricing property in a down market. Those were not listing appointments when you're telling the seller that, yeah, your neighbor just sold at 350, we need to list it at 325. And they're like, what do you mean? It's because the market's going down that fast. We can chase it or we can beat it. Which one do you want to be? Can you still not afford your mortgage? You know, so it's going to be a challenge motivating buyers with a sense of urgency if the inventory really peaks. So we in California, this is our hot season right now. Like this is the one where second quarter is generally where 65% of the income is made, just in that 25% of the year.
Us too.
Okay, so
Across the board.
yeah, so 65% so there's going to be such pent up demand coming out of this that you've got to be in front of these people. You've got to be in front of them, and right now you have the opportunity to actually cement those relationships with them in a non-sales manner. Just go talk to them and be a human being. Find out how they're doing. If something comes up, if they have a need, they're going to tell you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're going to tell you. And right now is the time that we should be organizing all the resources that we can find, you know, regarding like unemployment benefits, the mortgage relief, stuff like that. All your local stuff that's available to them, you should have that all like in a folder somewhere, just that you can share instantly. And you know, and then find out where the market is going to be and go get it. Here, I fundamentally believe it's going to be our mid-level price listings, so somewhere between 600 and $1 million. That's going to be the hot button. And definitely learn the different alternative financing options. So next. So Gary's opportunity mindset based on the theory of equilibrium, right? In a seller's market, the agent count increases. A buyer's market, the agent count decreases. 2008, we saw our transactions, I think nationally, go from like 6 million transactions down to, I think, 3.9. So about 25% fall off. Here's the good news. We lost what, 60% of the realtors? Nita?
We're going to lose about 60% this time around too.
So that's how you know, if you can stay, weather the storm and be there, it's like, yeah, the pie got a little smaller, but the pool of people eating on it got a lot smaller. I mean, as an agent, my best quarter was always the fourth because all my competitors quit. I mean, that fourth quarter was always my best quarter.
Agents fall asleep after Thanksgiving.
They fall
Mark,
asleep in October.
So,
Yeah, I want to add to that, to what you said about you know, agents leaving the market, the theory of equilibrium here. There's a delay in that, and there's a huge opportunity, but it doesn't come immediately. But you have to still be in the game. I don't know is this visible? No.
No.
So here, act like you can see this. So when the number of transactions drops, the number of agents doesn't decrease step for step with it. It takes a while for them to realize that the market's not there anymore. And so their curve follows it. What happens is at the bottom, as all these agents have been getting out of the market, at some point it turns the curve, right? And it turns back up. But just like there was a lag on the way down, there's a lag on the way up. And for a while there, before everyone realizes that it actually is a good time to get in real estate, there's a huge gap down there at the bottom when the market turns the corner again, that the fewest number of agents are in the business and transactions are going back up. And when we talk about capturing market share that we don't give back, that's a massive opportunity. But you got to be one of the agents that's in there at the bottom doing the work. And we don't know when the bottom is. So you just got to keep doing the work.
well, yeah, and to piggyback on what Mark said and what Alex said, stamina, skill, and adapted and improved business practices. This class today is just the intro. Mark's giving you the 360-degree view, just the overview of what's to come. One of the I think it's the next one actually, we're going to dig into expense management. And are you set up to handle your expenses, to have the stamina to make it to that gap and opportunity? We're also going to dig into leverage and all the different things. So, I mean, Mark, kudos to you, because you're like just dribbling these little things on us, and you don't get to dig into it like we would like to, and yet you're kind of teasing us for what's to come. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you for giving that to us. So hang in there, because all of these things are going to be important, and stick with us through the whole series, because those are the things that are going to, this slide is so important right here. Big opportunity for those with stamina, skill, and adapted improvement business practices. You guys are going to dig into each of those on a deep level. That's what's going to get you through all this. Don't just show up today and say, oh yeah, I heard that thing and I didn't come back. Come back Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and go and dig into all these, because that's where the opportunity is.
The opportunity right now is that you guys have time.
Yeah.
You have the time. You have the time to set yourself up for the success, right? I remember I heard a quote that said, the setback is just a stage for the comeback. And really kind of look at that, right? I mean, like this is an opportunity for us to step back from running 1,000,000 miles an hour and making things up as we, building the airplane as we fly it, to actually just being able to step back, get systematized, get organized, and start running an efficient and effective and a lean business. Okay? So next slide. So when markets, this is the last slide, and then we'll take like a 5-minute break so everyone can get water and use the bathroom and everything else. So when the market shifts downward, it's time to reach equilibrium is unknown, as Alex had pointed out, right? So I always joked, in 2008, people were like, I'm gonna wait till the bottom. I'm gonna wait till the bottom. Tell me what the top of the market is. And I always told them this. I said, look, I don't know when the top of the market is gonna be. I honestly don't. And I don't know when the bottom is. Because if I did, I'd be making a lot more money talking to a lot more important people than sitting here trying to list your house. I mean, that's just the fact. If I knew exactly what the markets were going to do, when they were going to do it, I'd be hanging out with Warren Buffett. So, so the truth is you just have to accept the truth that the market has changed. The way we do business is going to change, and that's just going to be the new normal. It's just going to be the new normal. And then a year from now, you'll just, oh yeah, I remember when we used to do that. Remember when we used to do listing appointments face to face? Yeah, that's over. I mean, think about how fast you can do listings now. Not going to drive from house to house. So, I mean, that's really what it is. And then it's commitment to your craft and your skills and your goals. Mainly your goals. Reanalyze your goals right now. Okay? Stay consistent with your activities, your accountability, your role play, your skill development, and your lead generation specifically. And then work on minimizing those expenses. For the KW people, look at what you're paying on outside technology that Command can actually replace and take that off. A couple, $50 here, $100 there. Next thing you know, you save $300 or $400 a month. That's $5,000 a year maybe. That's one less closing you have to do just to net the same.
Or a vacation.
Or a vacation. Treat yourself.
Ooh, vacation. I like vacations.
Me too.
Same here. So
we can go
I've
on
been one in like 2 years, but yeah. But yeah, so let's real quick, let's take a 5-minute break so everyone can go get some water, and we'll bring this thing home for the last 45 minutes, okay?
All right, it's 11:41. Let's meet back here. Let's do 11:45, yeah?
1:41, so meet back at
Oh,
1.
sorry, I forget. I'm different coast.
Costa.
Okay, see you in 4 minutes.
Tell Mark not to take the microphone into the bathroom. Just kidding. I was at a class once at Keller Williams Realty International. I think it was FSO, and the presenter had the lapel mic back, and she went into the bathroom and left it on, and the whole training room could hear it. It was so.
Yep, that was hilarious.
You were there with me, right?
Yep, that was the year that I went.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yep, sure was.
Don't take
I'm
a
not
mic.
going to throw her under the bus. It was funny though.
I actually have one of the desktop mics that I have here, so he doesn't have to do that because
And I'm loud enough anyway.
that's true. He doesn't need a mic. I love that so many people are out enjoying the sunshine.
It's funny. My kids came in here a moment ago, like maybe 5 minutes ago when Mark was still jamming and doing his thing. And in my office is the closet with all the board games. Like, it's hot outside. We're gonna play a board game. I was like, "Are you serious?" Kimberly Genevieve asked when we will receive the recording. Yeah, Ubaldo's on it. Guys, the recording is going to go out later this afternoon. Be patient as it gets rendered and all that stuff. You guys will definitely get it.
Isn't it cool how technology has completely changed how fast we're able to do, and that we're able to deliver this way and record it and replay it and shift it? Like all the things that, you know, had this crisis hit 3 years ago, I don't know that we'd be prepared and in the same place to be able to handle it the way it is now. It's pretty awesome.
100%. And also for those who are in class right now, guests or otherwise, when you do get this this recording, I'll say this: sharing is caring, man. Get the opportunity. You've got friends in your real estate sphere who need to hear this message. It's not about brands. It's about accountability to each other. As Mark said earlier, share the link, let them watch it, tell them how you've been impacted over the course of the next 45 minutes and what's already taken place, and share it. Get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, real estate's going to be what puts the world back together, right? Diana told us. She shared with me.
100%.
It's up to us to lift each other up and take a stand for each other.
100%.
And that's it. And that's really it. That's why we're doing this and offering it to anybody and everybody who wants to join. Okay? Or just join in on us, not join the company, is because we're in this together, right? I mean, we as an industry have got to get on the same page. We have to. That's the only way we're getting out of this. Okay? And you know, you realize through the accountability partners that, look, the same nonsense I'm dealing with, David's dealing with, and the same stuff David's dealing with, Alex is dealing with. You know, we all, the sellers and the buyers across the nation are all going to have the same concerns, the same impact. So it's really good to role play with multiple different people, because then you'll start to, they're going to get the objections that you're going to get. And then you'll hear different ways of hearing how to handle them and how to get past them and move forward. I'd be more than happy to sit down and set up a role play group for anybody out that wants it. More than happy to do it. You know, like I said, I was in Mike Ferry coaching, so the bulk of my experience has been nothing more than cold calling.
Yeah, and to speak on Mark's expertise, earlier this year, I had an opportunity where I got to role play with him a couple times. With another team leader in our group who is from, I think she was from Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. And wow, Mark is bringing it. The accountability is high, and his level of script mastery is absolutely unfathomable. The guy is an absolute professional. So if he's offering to do something of that magnitude with you and you're on this call, by all means, I would have scrolled down, I would have screenshotted, wrote down, tattooed, whatever it takes for you to get his number and put it into practice immediately.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. All right, let's start moving forward. Now, I want to bring you guys the most value and the most energy that I got. All right. If you look, I'm actually like starting to sweat. So just so you know. So again, back to mindset. Mindset's the key. Again, 90% of our success is based on our mindset, 10% on the skill. We have to look at doing stuff on a daily basis to make our mindset strong. So in a downshift, it's time for all hands on deck. So it's prospecting, converting appointments to contracts, cost control, negotiations, transaction bulletproofing, and customer service. Now, in the first chapter of Shift, on topic 1, those of you who are operating teams, you may have to go back to actually holding the appointments, because you have to make sure that those are getting converted. So start looking at, if you have leverage, who's the best person for the job right now? That's what we need to focus on, because opportunities are going to get scarcer. and you have to make the most of those opportunities when you get them. And that's where the key to the role play and skill development is, right? It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have it than to have the opportunity and not be prepared for it. Do you want to lose $10,000 on a listing appointment with an actual seller, or do you want to not get the listing with your role play partner? So your role as an opportunity warrior, have a plan and know what you should be doing at all times. Know your strengths and leverage them and execute, and delegate tasks that you do less well. Anita, how good am I at paperwork?
You hate it.
Yeah. So I don't touch much paperwork other than the contracts. I don't
even do that. You just say DocuSign.
Yeah. So I took the time to build a template in DocuSign, and that's it. So I'm just, that's not my strength. It's not my strength. She knows the reason I got into sales in the first place was so I didn't have to sit in front of a computer all day inside. It's driving me crazy. Absolutely crazy right now. But really you have time to reflect and look into what's the most efficient and effective use of your time. You know, if you don't like cold calling, first of all, get used to it. Second of all, role play on it, because so you build the skills. When you build the skills, that's how you get the confidence.
Not cold calling if you know them.
Right, exactly.
If there's someone that you knows, loves, and trusts you, you know them. It's not a cold call. That's a warm call.
Yeah. So
Get over it.
yeah, but no, I mean, it's just what it is. It doesn't matter where your leads come from. Eventually, you're gonna have to have a conversation with them. Eventually, I mean, it's just a fact. And I remember when I was in coaching and was struggling, and I said, well, what's the most important part of this whole process? The prospecting, the follow-up, the presentation. And they told me, get the presentation down. Get it down pat. Because for the newer people on the call, your biggest concern is, one, I don't know what to say, and what if they do say yes? You go, oh crap, I gotta go. So, but once you have a listing presentation down, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to show this thing off. You'll start prospecting or lead generating harder. You'll start following up harder because you're ready to go show off what you can and can't do. You know, what you can do. Once you get the presentation down, you're just like, you're walking up to the door going like, I know I got this. Another opportunity mindset for you new agents is, look, this is your market. This is the way things are working. You don't have to change. You just need to, build your skill level so you can go out and work on it. Am I leaving anything out? No. I mean, this is going to be our new normal. So those of us seasoned agents, we have to adjust. We have to figure out how we can do this and where we're going to move. Whereas the new agents, you're just going to learn the way to do business. That's just the way it's going to be. So that's your advantage, is that you actually, the real estate market's kind of leveled the playing field for you a little bit right now. So they have a list of opportunity warrior affirmations. I am an opportunist, and this is an opportunity. I'm a market maker, and I create my own market in these conditions. I'm able, ready, and willing. Sorry, my vision's going on me. I'm knowledgeable real estate agent. I understand the big picture. I'm a professional guiding clients through the process. Sellers need me more than ever to get a sale. Buyers need me more than ever to get the best price. So those are some of their mindsets. They're not my affirmations personally, but it's what it is. There's a good idea, some good idea of some to start with.
And Diana says to use affirmations in the present tense.
Yeah, I am. So I can tell you this, that the one that I do that resonates with me the most is number 2. I'm a market maker, and I create my own market. I was taught that the market does not dictate your goals or your income, just the activities that you have to do to get there. That's the only thing that's changed, is what you have to do to get to where you want to go. That's the only thing that's changed across the board. It shouldn't be changing. It shouldn't change how you set your goals or what you want to accomplish, just what you have to do to get there. Opportunity mindset. So gain market share in a slowing market. So maintaining your volume you'll increase your market share because there's going to be less sales. So if you just maintain your volume, you're going to outpace the market. The advantages, like Alex pointed out to earlier, is when the agents start falling off the board, there's going to be more opportunities. Again, picture a pie, and there's just, picture a pie. If there's 12 people eating off of it, you got to slice it up by 12. Well, those are smaller slices. But if you have 6 people eating off of it, those are much larger slices, right? So that's the advantage right now, is just being able to sustain and weather this shortened storm, and being able to just go out there and rock the minute the green light goes. That's not the time you want to start lead generating, by the way.
Time is now.
Time is now. Figure out social media, because that wasn't around last time. And every single person on the world right now is looking for funny memes and all over social media. Figure out how to leverage the campaigns and generate leads off of social media right now. Okay, so really, when the market goes down, if you can gain volume, you're really going to outpace the market. That's what we talked about, right? Like my team was doing 120 to 150 transactions a year from 2009, 10, 11, and 12. And that's how I got to meet the great Sophia Chacon, Derek Oy, those people, because there was only like 4 or 5 people in the city of Corona, California that were doing 100 transactions a year. My team was one of them. Between the 5 of us, we controlled half the market. Okay, now it's going to be like beating a dead horse, mastering your skills. I'll leave you with this. The work will make you a living. The skills will make you a fortune. So you have 2 choices right now in your lead generation. You can talk to more people, or you can talk at a higher level.
Or do both.
Yeah, fundamentally, that would be the best thing to do, is to do.
You knew that was going to come from me, Mark.
I know. So right now and this is the best time to do it. So assess your skills and look at ways to improve. Okay. Keep your education going. So if you're in coaching, keep coaching. Keep engaging with us. We're doing stuff all the time to help you guys with skill development. Be a student of the market. That's what we're kind of helping you guys with, that, with the daily charts of what's going on in the marketplace, but really barrel it down to like a micro to the city. When I moved to Orange County in 2013, I had to analyze where I was going to do business. So I looked at the average number of sales per month. And so the cities I work are Rancho Santa Margarita, Mission Viejo, and Costa de Casa. And in a normal month, Mission Viejo will have 150 sales. Rancho Santa Margarita will have somewhere around 90. So which market do you think I should go after? Well, everyone goes, oh, Mission Viejo. Well, Rancho Santa Margarita is 2/3 of the volume. However, they only have 40% of the same population. The population size is much smaller. So Rancho Santa Margarita turns over faster. So I targeted Rancho Santa Margarita because I knew that a person in Rancho Santa Margarita was more likely to be a buyer or seller than people in Mission Viejo. Come back one second. So lead generate 3 hours a day. Tony's telling us 6. Talk competently with sellers about pricing. Okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a minute. Do you know why your sellers fight you on price reductions?
Why?
Thank you. Because you took a listing and you never called them back. So at a minimum, right now, you should be talking to your sellers once a week, doing a complete analysis of what happened and what you did. I emailed, I cold called, I did a social media post, I did all these things, right? So that way, when you go back to them and you have a list of everything you've done and you've talked to them every single week, you go, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's what it happens. Your neighbor just listed their house for 40 grand less than you. I've talked to 500 people about your home. I've posted social medias on it, so 3,000 people have seen it. I've emailed every agent that's had a listing or a sale in the city for the last 6 months and showed them your house. I've done everything I can possible to sell your home except touch your price. Now is that time, okay? So motivating buyers to buy. So you start having a conversation with them. When's your lease up? You know, how important is it for your kids to be in that house before school starts? Do you really want to start the school year and then transfer? And then the follow-up. This is where 99% of realtors really struggle, is in constant and consistent follow-up. You worked very, very hard to generate that lead, and then you're going to lose it. And then you call them back 30 days later and find out they just signed a contract last week. That's the heart. That kills me when it happened to me. And it happens to all of us. So don't think that you're alone on that. But make sure that you have some sort of follow-up plan in place. You know, an email campaign, a text campaign, call. Hit them all three sides all the time. So next. So assess your skills. Okay, so know your market. So here's what happens when, so if you're for sale by owners and expired guys, right? So when expireds are good, meaning the market's slow, for sale by owners are up. Or no, they work inversely. So when the market's hot, there's not many expireds, but all the for sale by owners hit the market. That's what they do. Like any realtor, you just put a sign in the yard to sell anyway. Who cares? But when it shifts and the expireds, the market slows down, the for sale by owners go away and the expireds rocket. So know your market, know where that trend is. So that way you're constantly working on those skills. Prospect, try new sources for leads. This is important. Don't start spending a ton of money on lead generation. Okay? No scripts. Again, back to skill sets. Make offers to generate responses. Have a clear, concise, unique selling proposition. So you need to be able, when the seller sits down and says, why you better have something that's genuine, authentic, and strong to tell them, because, and there's so many realtors, especially here in Orange County. I think there's like 50,000 licenses just in the county. So most people just have a three-point listing plan, right? They put a sign in the yard, they put it in the MLS, and they pray that it sells. That's not what I do. Here's what I do. Boom, 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 boom. That's where having it is key. And the more you build your skill set, the less likely they're gonna ask you, why should I choose you versus somebody else? And the more likely they're gonna pay you your commission. Next. So let's think about it right now. So let's get interactive. What improvement would benefit you the most right now?
I hear crickets.
Mm-hmm. We asked a question.
Maybe unmute everybody so that they can participate at this point. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah.
53rd and Cicero on 61st, 10 South Knox, correct?
Developing our skills.
Maybe
Yeah.
mute and let
Where
them.
the
See this, guys, there's a raised hand.
Put your hand up.
Okay.
Charge you.
Oh, and under.
Of course. And there is, that
Okay, you're okay.
That was funny. Anyway, the biggest thing that I think everybody can be working on right now is their database. I mean, that's what I like keyed into, updating command, getting as much information in there for each of my contacts, their social media, their birthdays, all of that, and really just kind of working on that so that once the floodgates open, you know, we're in a great position.
Absolutely. What was your question? What was your one question that you had about database management, Anita? Is your database strong enough that it's not going to go with another agent?
Oh, I have it written down. I have to go back.
Okay, well, we'll get there in a second. So right now is a great time to be learning and reading books, okay? Like, not just like science fiction or anything like that, but I mean, really focus on books that are going to help you be, you know, improve your business and your skill set. I read Versatile Selling is a great one on how to present to the four different personality types. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Those are just a few off the top of my head. A great Audible, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. He wrote that book in the middle of the recession on how he grew his business throughout the recession.
I found my question.
Okay, here's your question.
Is your database protected enough from agents that are more prepared and more skilled and have moved into action sooner than you have?
That's an ouch question. Like, oh, right?
I told that one in my mastermind group maybe about a month or so ago, and I told it to Tony, and he wrote it down, and I'm sure he'll share it soon. Because it's true.
You know, it's a good question when you say it to the great Tony DeCello, and he says, "I'm going to write that down and use it."
Right?
That's pretty powerful.
All right.
Say that one again, one more time. It's so powerful. I'd love to hear it again.
Is your database protected enough from agents that are more prepared and more skilled and have moved into action sooner than you have? Boom.
All right.
So the follow-up question I would ask for that is, what can I do to become more prepared right now? What can I do to increase my skill level right now? And what can I do to get into action right now to protect my database?
Don't everybody hop off and go talk to your database. Let's finish this thing up.
Right now, as in today. Sorry, Mark.
So be a student of the market, right? So you should be tune in 5 to 10 minutes a day. Just look at what's going on in your city, your market area, and in a month you'll be surprised what you know. You'll know what this street's selling for this. You know that side of the street has the view. You know, so that way when these buyers are calling you and they say, "Hey, look, yeah, I'm looking for 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhome for $500,000, and I want an attached garage. Oh, that's over there in the Mission Greens tract. I know exactly where you're looking." And then that's how you become an expert. So the data is your friend, and know both national and local statistics. So know what's going on in the county, and then your micro. So we talked about, right, macro, metro, micro.
Mark, someone's asking if you can rename those 2 books that you mentioned.
Yes.
Ronald is asking.
Okay. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and then Versatile Selling. And Versatile Selling is not a fun read. It reads more like a textbook. However, I'll tell you this, I'm a high D, so I struggle with the analyticals. And I heard that book and I started converting more analyticals than I did drivers. So it's just it helped me with my presentation of becoming versatile. But you got to get the basics of the presentation down before you can start catering it to different personality styles. All right, next. Be the media, become the spokesperson, speaker, and resource. So start blogging. You know, start talking. Tony talked about it this morning on our huddle call about reach out to local restaurants to give your past clients ideas, or local restaurants that will give your past clients discounts, so that way they can spice up their different eating. So they're not eating the same thing over and over and over again, right? So they'll become a resource for you guys referral-wise moving forward.
Tony always talks about being a trusted advisor, being a resource for your clients.
Yeah, and start really putting up, like it says, put up updated, insightful content on your website. I think that's kind of dated at this point. However, start putting fun stuff on social media. All right, sprinkle it in with like stuff going on in the real estate market. But there's so much doom and gloom in this world right now. Be the light. Be the light for people.
Be the light. I like that.
All right. Next. So this is an idea of what numbers you should be looking for, right? Like how many houses are on the market? How many homes are selling? That's your average inventory, right? How many are pending? Are we seeing an uptick in expireds, or is it just normal? Days on market, or are they going up? Are they going down? Those are the market trends that you're looking at. And same with the list price and sales price. Is there a bigger gap from list price to sales price than normal? Maybe. People are buying houses sight unseen, so there may be some reluctance to pay full list price. There's other properties that are selling with 5-6 offers on them. So really, you become the master, right? I always joke. They have a saying about politics, right? Numbers don't lie, but liars use numbers. But just know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. I don't like numbers at all. I'm a driver, but I can tell you within like 5 minutes, I can rattle off market stats to you. So next. Be the great communicator. First, seek to understand, ask, listen, and validate. Here's a little more for sales calls. A sales call is asking questions, not telling. So a sales call should be 15 seconds of you asking questions, 45 seconds of them responding. That's how a minute should be broken down on a sales call. Let them talk. Study and practice scripts. Leverage script knowledge through conversational skills. Again, work on that. Work on how to talk to the different personality types. Okay, I'm a driver. Like when someone talks to me for more than 5 minutes, I kind of start to check out. So I have to be aware of that, and I have to focus on engaging. Amiables want to talk about feelings. Analyticals want to talk about the numbers. What are the numbers? Expressives just want to have a party and go crazy. So, you know, just know who you're talking to, and you can relate to them a lot better. And communicate with your clients faithfully, relieving their stress and yours. Again, the reason why most people freak out is a lack of communication, a lack of touching. They're like, you listed my house, or you put me in a buyer agreement, and then you went quiet for 2 weeks. Like, what are you doing? So just make them feel important. Look at everyone with an MMFI across their face. Make me feel important. Next. Be the great communicator. So it's remessaging this, right? So don't fall down the rabbit hole with them when they're talking about all the negative stuff that's going on. Be compassionate, be there for them, and just let them know everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. This too shall pass, okay? Right now, it's the best time for you guys to be out there talking to them. Calm them down, because everyone's just panicked. They're gonna lose their house. They're not getting paid. There's no food. There's no toilet paper. Like, just, calm down. If I can do 30 days indoors, they can. So
That's actually true.
yeah. So yeah, and that's going to come with confidence of knowing your scripts. It's going to come with confidence in knowing your market and what's going on. So again, this is all kind of just a reiteration of the same stuff over and over and over again. With the skills comes confidence. With confidence comes, can come the soothing force in the transaction. So next. So again, back to speaking competently about pricing with sellers. Again, I say this, at a minimum, you should be talking to your sellers at least once a week at scheduled calls, and know what's going on in the market and what you've done to sell their home. So they don't want to hear, we need to lower the price, when they haven't heard from you in 30 days and they don't know what you've been doing. And talk about net with them. Okay, talk about the net that they're getting, because every seller fundamentally wants 3 questions answered. How much am I going to make, which is the net? That's a combination of the gross sales price and the commission. So how much am I going to make? How long is it going to take to get done, days on market? And what are you going to do to sell it? Those are the 3 questions every seller wants answered. And if you can answer them with conviction, you're going to win. So, and yeah. So, and how to motivate buyers to buy? This is something that in full disclosure, I do not work with many buyers. I never have. So I'm not exactly 100% sure. I think by finding people who have life events and who need to buy, that's the best thing to do. And then you just have to find out what their motivation is and ask them questions about it to tie them back down into a timeline. So they're gonna tell you that the market's falling and I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Well, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But you do like the house, you do need to move, and you can afford it right now. So wouldn't it make sense to just go ahead and move forward? They're recommending 3 hours of lead generation a day, and you should probably be even higher than that. So I know my numbers when I was an agent. It was 57 contacts to a listing appointment. So I knew that if I wanted to go on 3 listing appointments or set 3 listing appointments this week, if I were only talking to 20 people a day, it wasn't going to happen. I needed to up it. So I'd up my contacts to 35 people a day. So I would set my 3 listing appointments throughout the week. Next. Installing key systems. We're running out of time. So next. So again, review everything that you do with a critical eye. Focus on your 20% activities. Lead generation, lead follow-up, and presenting. Those are the 2 or the 3 top priorities you should be working on. So focus on those first and foremost, right now especially, and find out cost-effective ways of doing them that way you don't have a huge overhead. You know, I mean, it's going to be really, really hard for like companies like Commissions Inc. and Boomtown and Real Geeks moving forward, because there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to pay for leads, pay $2,000-$3,000 a month for leads that are going to take 18 months to convert. It's going to be really challenging. Be efficient, be effective. Rethink how you use and work with people, restructure as needed, and increase accountability. Everyone in this group should have accountability partners, and the more you have, the better off you'll be. I promise. I promise. And have real skin in the game. You know, we used to have to write a check for $500 to be in a role play group, and if we bailed, they cashed it, and you couldn't get back in the role play group until you paid another $500. But here's the thing: everyone balks at the $500. However, if you just do your job, you're not going to lose the money, right? Systematize everything. Okay. Reread The Millionaire Real Estate Agent right now on how to increase those systems and how to build them out. If you need help, reach out to us. We've, you know, Colleen's made an entire life on systems. So we can help you implement these. We can help you design them. We can help you and build them and put them in place right away. All right.
I think I'm a little obsessive about our systems.
So manage your expenses. Okay. We as a market center are getting lean on our expenses. We're focusing on our worst month. Can we still afford the operating expenses? We're not basing it off of our best month. Okay, we're going off of our worst month. Now I know some people here, their worst month is a 0, and getting your living expenses down to 0 is impossible, obviously. However, like really start looking at what you can cut. You know, do you really need to spend, you know, $150 for that CRM when you can convert it in Command and not have to pay for it? You know, so, and get in the game. Most importantly, we can talk about theories, we can talk about systems and everything else, but if you don't get in action, it's not going to do you any good. So lay your foundation for growing and improving markets, have a game plan and stick to it. Analyze it every 20 to 30 days, make sure it's paying off, but know your role, revamp it if necessary, and focus on dollar productive activities. There's 2 activities you guys have: income generating activities, income servicing. Double down on the income generating ones, because you can pay to have somebody service it. All right. I don't do paperwork because I can make $500 an hour making cold calls or phone calls versus pay someone $15 an hour to build a flyer for me and process a transaction. This is the old career growth initiative. You know, everyone here should have a GPS, and you should have and be filling out 401s on a weekly basis and have accountability attached to them. All right, so here we go. Listing appointments, listings taken equals closings and then profit. So that's just the, you know, it's a Keller Williams thing for those of the guests that are here.
4 conversations.
4 conversations. So that we can pass that one now. So be the opportunity warrior. This is the bottom line. We're in the home stretch, and I want to leave a few minutes for ahas and questions. So accept the laws of supply and demand. Understand that your market locally, affordability index, become the media. Become the people that people want to go to. Master your skills of market knowledge, communication, lead generation, and conversion, and evaluate yourself on all challenges and build your action plan now. Again, build out the accountability that you're going to work on your market skills. You're going to work on your presentation skills, all that stuff. And then reach out to us. We'll help. We can help you guys with that. If you guys don't know how to do something or don't, you know, can't figure it out, we are here to be a resource for you guys. We want all of you guys to make money and succeed at a high level, because that's how we get what we're trying to get to. We can't do it without you. We need every single one of you here. All right. Next slide. Don't put away this guide without developing a plan on what you want, what you've learned, and what you want to do. Refer to the action plan on pages 55 and 6 of your agent guide to assess your strengths and areas for improvement. Write down the steps you're going to improve your skills, complete it, and share it, and commit to doing it.
That part's really important, Mark, that last part.
Yeah, commit to doing it. And the only way you do that is with massive accountability. This is the industry where some people come into it because there's nowhere else to go, and you just don't fire yourself. So you need to ask yourself the question this. You ask yourself this question. Would you pay you for what you did today?
Ooh, that's a great question.
You know, we were at a seminar, and it was our average commission check's $15,000 here, just so you guys know. So if you did 20 transactions in a year, you make $300,000. So he says, okay, so raise a hand. If I had a $300,000 salary job, who wants it? And all these people raise their arms. And the speaker goes, well, you know what I would expect from you for $300,000? You, on call, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, that's why I dress in a suit and tie every day. We go on listing appointments, and we're walking into $1 million home, which is not anything crazy out here. And you're asking a seller to pay you $50,000 or $60,000. So you better look like you're worth it.
Yeah. So
anyway, again, you guys are great. I appreciate your attention and your attendance. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here. These are the next upcoming courses that we're going to be focusing on. And let's turn it over some ahas and some questions. Anybody?
I'm afraid if I unmute everyone,
Someone raise her.
it's going to be where?
Type in if you want to speak, and then we can unmute you.
Anita, can you make it so they can unmute themselves by pressing spacebar or no?
Yeah.
There we go. So
Yeah. So if you want to talk, press spacebar and go. All right.
Nita, can you repeat the question about is your database and strong enough to withstand competitors with higher skill? Can you repeat that?
let me go back really quick to that note.
An aha or a question?
Is your database protected enough from agents that are more prepared and more skilled and have gotten into action sooner than you?
That's it, right there. Building a moat around the people, right?
You guys, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to really go out there and take your businesses to the next level. I fundamentally believe it. We're built. Tell yourself that I am built for this market. I am built for this market. I know I am.
That question that Anita shared is the biggest. If you took nothing away from this class other than that today, that's everything, because it covers all three things. It covers about a skill, it covers action, and it covers mindset, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is about, the intro class. It's about, do we have the mindset to do it? Do we have the skills to convert? And are we taking the actions to get us there? Each one of these follow-up sessions, these tactics that we're going to cover is going to get us there. Mark, you were amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, guys, just start looking at your businesses, find the holes, and start plugging them fast. If you need help, we're here to help you guys do that. So
thank you to Alex and David and Anita and everyone else who jumped in, and Kim. Come on.
Come on.
It doesn't say that. Sorry.
I'm blessed. Thank you guys so much.
Love
I
you
really
guys.
appreciate it. I'm going to go get some water now.
Yeah, what kind of water?
Love you, brother. Appreciate
You guys
you.
did awesome.
Good
Thanks,
job, guys.
everyone.
Back on Monday.
See you Monday.
Good Monday. Have a great weekend, guys.